Right then, in this video, I returned to Tesco's in Chatham. This place has been such an interesting building. Back when it was opened as a Tesco's, it was very, very old fashioned and included features you would not see in a Tesco's nowadays. It was an interesting site. Tesco's closed down because they couldn't make enough money here, despite the fact it's in a very prompt location in the centre of Chatham. After this, the Tesco shop went abandoned, and also the car park used to have 4 levels open and 3 levels abandoned, but then 2 more levels got abandoned, so now the car park's only just got 2 levels left open. Then, in part of the old Tesco shop, a new GoOutdoors shop was built within the Tesco space. And it stayed like that for quite a long time. I used to go in there quite regularly because the car park lifts are still working. You could just surf down to restaurant level, which is like mezzanine in Tesco's, and from there you could actually get into the abandoned shop. I was going in there for quite a while till that got baited. After that I couldn't get in, but then Medway Council went and evicted GoOutdoors after just 4 years of being open. Considering that GoOutdoors had to build their entire shop in the space of the old Tesco shop, I don't think GoOutdoors managed to make a profit on that. Medway Council do change their mind a lot, and they then suddenly decided they didn't want to have shops in the old Tesco site, and they wanted to pull it down for housing. Anyway, in the modern day, the entire site is now abandoned and the electricity is now off, making the remains of the shop feel very sad. But one thing is I've now got access to the entire shop, both the old Tesco shop and now, never seen before, the GoOutdoors shop. So let's go and explore it, and let's start off with the lifts. These lifts are some very interesting, very heavy duty and very well built 1970s lifts. And these 3 lifts have had different mods. 2 of the lifts have been modernised by Otis, and this is a full mod with Otis belt cables and Otis logic. The 3rd lift has a more lighter mod with Leicester controls. Let's take a look at the Otis mod lifts. On top, the lift is very heavy duty with a great big chassis, but it's now with Otis belt cables. It just looks so weird seeing modern belt cables on this really old chassis. It is a bizarre mod. Back to the Otis. Look at that big, I've never seen belt cables that big. This is the only lift I've ever come across that's got big belt cable. Never seen big ones anywhere else. Big chassis lift and big belt cables. That can't have a Gen 2 motor. There's no way those are Gen 2 motors. So I'd love to see its motion, because there must be some attachment of linking one of those to a proper motor. And if we take a look inside a lift, this is what it looks like. Let's now take a look at the Leicester mod lift, and as we can see is a more conventional mod. And this is what it looks like inside. So then we now go down to the lift pit, and we now cross over the lift pit and out the other side into the Tesco store. Never seen this lift pit before. Those are big springs. Oh, never seen underneath that lift before. Spot the needle! Tesco in Chatham lift pit is full of needles. Isn't that lovely?
So we've got to climb up that. Oh, that's eerie as fuck.
Oh, lovely.
Here's loads.
That is really lovely.
Okay.
That is so horrible. Lift pits are disgusting. So then, I'm now in the Tesco shop. This is what it looks like. It is very dark without the electricity on. And this here is the classic view of the lifts from the Tesco shop. This brings back memories. Very sad to see it in this very poor state. It's all waiting to be demolished and looking incredibly sad. So then, let's now go and explore the Tesco shop. It does seem very creepy now.
Yeah, all GoOutdoors is literally empty.
So we now walk up towards the back of the Tesco shop, and copper thieves have sadly raided this site, and a lot of the copper has been stripped. So any plans of reopening this shop are now scuppered, and it is going to be pulled down now.
Everything the building's been cut. So that's the main table's going up. The sub-main's in there.
And we now got into the back area where there is 2 gated lifts. There's actually 5 gated lifts in this shop. These are the 2 gated lifts at the back of the Tesco shop. These lifts go non-stop from ground floor up to 1st floor. These gated lifts do not stop at the restaurant level. So then, now for something never seen before. We now go from the back of the old Tesco shop into the back of the GoOutdoors shop. This is what it looks like. GoOutdoors had to build, and this toilet looks utterly disgusting, all of this new shop area within the confines of the old Tesco shop. They had to build all of this and they only got 4 years out of it. And this here is the cash safe room of the GoOutdoors shop.
Yeah, 4 years, isn't it, I've opened.
They must be pissed at how it will go out their shop.
So no, this was originally here, with these walls. These all built for this GoOutdoors.
And this here is the server room of the GoOutdoors shop. And now into the shop itself. This is what the shop looks like. It looks very different now the electricity is off.
This is
This shop has 2 gated lifts. These were the gated lifts that were back when it was Tesco's over at the far end of the store. These lifts are repurposed as the GoOutdoors gated lifts. These lifts go non-stop up to the loading bay and stockroom floor on floor 1, and they do not stop at the mezzanine restaurant floor. One of them is modernised by Otis and one of them is completely original.
You've got one Otis and one original. How weird. Let's get in motion with this. That is a hydraulic. That's actually quite original, this one. No fucking way, is that alarm still on? That scared me. You press overload. Now into the Otis.
So we continue to look around GoOutdoors and this is what it looks like.
another one there.
And we now go up a spooky staircase up to the Tesco stockroom. I have not been in the Tesco stockroom before because this stockroom was repurposed for the GoOutdoors shop. Let's go and explore it.
Oh, this is a nice bit I've never seen. I've never got to this section before. It's always nice to get to a new bit. Wow, I've never been in this part. Come here for years, I've never got to this part. There's the motor room.
And let's go in the motor room with the two gated lifts from GoOutdoors. This is what a motor room looks like. There are two different logics in this motor room.
You've got visual logic there. I've never seen a FIRS logic before, but first we look at the Otis logic.
When we went and tried that door the first, I remember I had to padlock on it. And that was this was the GoOutdoors warehouse. So we never actually did any of this.
We all know what Otis logic looks like. It's shit. But let's look at the FIRS. I've never seen this before. It's a custom relay. Is that tight? No way. Same type of bell-size bunker. I never knew that FIRS used this. So FIRS used, rather than having a logic board or any sort of custom logic, it's literally off-the-shelf contactors they've wired together to make a logic. So we found a mystery. What logic did FIRS use? They used just wiring together different off-the-shelf contactors. I did not expect FIRS logic to look like that.
This is one of these logics that's basically off-the-shelf relays wired up to make a logic. Now I would be very interested to see what the three main passenger lifts logics would have been like, as these three lifts are a set. And now this is rare because these would have most likely had a similar relay logic formed by off-the-shelf relays. And I didn't know there was anyone in the 70s building logics like this, logics using ordinary relays wired together, which could handle a set of 3 lifts, meaning you press the lift button and then it has to decide one of 3 lifts to answer the call, which in modern day of electronics that's nothing. But with relays, that is a complex task. And I wouldn't have thought one of these generic style relay logics would have been capable of that, so that is very interesting. Sadly though, we'll never get to see the version of this logic for a set of 3 because this has long since been modernised. So then, let's now take a look around the first floor, which is the Tesco stockroom, and there's also a generator room, which has an old generator in it, which would have powered a shop if ever the electricity failed. Now we go to the other end of the stockroom, where there is the 2 gated lifts which we saw earlier, which were at the back of the Tesco store. There are also 2 gated first lifts. These are the ones that have been modernised with the weird ThyssenKrupp logic. Let's go in the motor room. This motor room is above the lifts, but despite the fact it's above the lifts, so you'd expect a traction, they've put a hydraulic lift.
No way! You can see into the shaft! Nice! That's well nice. You can see the shop. This should be a traction. This shouldn't be hydraulic.
And this is what a logic looks like. It's weird ThyssenKrupp shit. Now as this motor room is above the lifts, this motor room is actually on the 2nd floor. This is the only part of the building where there is a 2nd floor, which isn't the car park 2nd floor. So then we go back down to store level, and we now go along to the main security office. And this here is a little fire alarm panel. This can't be the main fire alarm panel because it's too small. Either that or I had a very basic fire alarm system in this building. And this here is the system that ran the tills. The tills must have been a very custom system in the 70s, having multiple tills all linked up to a central server. But for the 70s, that would have been a very technical achievement. I think this Tesco store opened in the very late 70s, possibly early 80s, but I think it was late 70s. Also, one thing I remember when the Tesco shop was open is they had these vacuum tubes to send money from the different tills up to the cash safe room. So then, back along to where the 3 main lifts are.
That's well old, fucking hell. That's like 90s.
Sounds a Mac.
And we now go up to restaurant level. So we go up the very 70s looking staircase to the mezzanine restaurant level. I always loved this staircase when the shop was open. I found this part very interesting. Sadly though, when we get up to restaurant level, we can see the glass has been broken, which is a great shame because I really liked this part of the shop when it was open.
It's a shame that someone smashed this. That makes me sad to see that someone would smash such a nice visual feature.
2002nd of the 3rd, 2003.
So then we now go into the restaurant. Now when the shop was open, I never got into this part because the restaurant had already closed by the time I was going to this shop. I have been in this part before, back when the power was on in my previous URBEX video.
I can't believe someone smashed every window. Someone's literally gone in and smashed all of them.
Oh shit. Oh no.
And now we go behind the scenes at restaurant level and along to the staff canteen, which is on the room opposite the room that was the restaurant. And let's now go into the kitchen.
Plastic fucking labels.
And this is what a kitchen looks like. And now we go to the main staff corridor and along to the staff toilets and washrooms. And now we go along to the middle gated lift. This is the only gated lift that serves ground floor, restaurant level and first floor. This is a hydraulic gated lift that was modernised by Otis. Back on my previous URBEX of this, I used a surface lift to get between restaurant level and the first floor management room without being seen by the camera. Now the power's off, so there's no cameras in here, so sadly we can't ride a lift, but let's walk up the stairs to the first floor. We are now on the other side of the stockroom from where we were previously. And here is the motor room. And now we go into the cash safe room. In the cash safe room we can see the returns of the vacuum tube delivery system. And there's also an entry phone which has a CRT in it for the screen. This is a very early camera entry phone system. And now go into the air conditioning room.